Hello friends, I am currently in the middle of a series of videos where I am answering your questions. I asked for them several weeks ago and there were so many that I had to break it down into several videos. So each video has a bit of a theme. The last one was all about gear. So if you haven't seen that, I will put a link to the previous videos down below. However, today's topic is all about being a photographer and also some personal questions that folks threw out there. So let's get to it because there's a bunch of these. The first one is from, I swear I'm getting old, is from A. Fung, Farts Photography. Okay. Have you ever earned your black belt in karate? He's been around for a while. No, I didn't. I did used to take karate classes and I went through my red belt, I believe. And I stopped because of travel and just general time. And I am a type A person and I don't like to half-ass things, if you will. So yeah, I decided to kind of put that on hold. Martial arts is definitely something I would like to get back into. Maybe karate, maybe not karate. I have many interests in that realm, but yeah, thanks for asking. Jose asks, why was you crying before this video? I asked for questions in a video. I promise I wasn't crying. I just have red eyelids. I do. I just have red eyelids. I can't help it. It's not makeup. It's just my skin. I don't put on a lot of makeup, so you can see it. Next question is from Boniface? Boniface? Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, I am in love with photography. Me too. But my pictures are not as sharp and beautiful, not like yours, which are awesome. How can I get a sharp picture? Well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. That was very nice. However, I have a feeling that your photos are beautiful. But let me give you a few tips on clarity, getting a sharp photo. So first is kind of technicals and technique. So focus. Focus is very important. And if you are really zooming in on something, if you're like in the computer doing some pixel peeping, you might find that you missed focus a little bit. That can lead to a photo looking not quite as crisp if you kind of missed focus a little bit. You know, where the focus is somewhere where you didn't expect it to be. In addition to that, your camera settings, so aperture, shutter speed, ISO sensitivity. If you're shooting a lens wide open, you might find that the lens is not as crisp. I don't know what you are using, but if you are, say, using an f1.8 lens, you might find that at f1.8, even as you go up, f3.5, it's still a little bit on the soft side of things. As you creep things up, f5.6, f8, you'll notice that a lot of times on a lot of lenses, your photo will become more crisp. That's something to pay attention to. And then things like shutter speed, just having a fast enough shutter speed that you have frozen the action of whatever you are taking a photo of, and also any motion blur from you holding the camera, just any little bit of camera shake. So make sure that your shutter speed is fast enough. Typically, on most cameras, if you're shooting handheld, if you shoot the inverse of your focal length, which just means 1 over your focal length, if you are using, say, an 85mm prime lens, if your shutter speed is 1/85th, that is typically enough to prevent any like camera shake motion blur just from you holding the camera. But if you are shooting something that's moving, you will need to move that up so that you're freezing that motion. So experiment with that. And then ISO sensitivity, if you're using a higher ISO sensitivity, you might be seeing noise or grain in your images, and that could be leading to you thinking there's a lack of clarity. And then the last thing is lens. So, the gear that you're actually using. There are limitations out there. If you are using a kit lens, it will probably be less clear than, say, a prime lens. You will get more clarity out of a prime lens than you will with a kit lens or even one of the higher end zoom lenses. That's just how it is. It's physics and the glass. So there's that. John asks, what has been one of the most hilarious experiences you've had as a professional photographer? How about as an adventurous? I only ask because, well, you asked. Okay, so hilarious experiences. Well, my experiences as a professional photographer oftentimes coincide with my experiences as an adventurous. I like that. I'm going to start calling myself an adventurous. So, oh my goodness. I'm just going to pick one at random because, I've been in so many silly situations, mostly because of my sense of adventure. One of them is not that long ago when Raymond and I went out on a big field trip. I was making a book. It was a road trip on the Colorado Plateau, and we were camping out one night at Goosenecks State Park. Beautiful place. It was the middle of summer. It was kind of miserable all day because it was hot, and we had this small square of shade that we were trying to follow throughout the day because we got there pretty early, and we're just waiting for sunset and to be able to take a nap. And I had this whole vision of being able to wake up and open up we set up the tent towards the edge, and I was going to open up the tent and just see this beautiful vista at sunrise. And then the dust storm came. Raymond had to throw himself on the tent. I had to, while he was laying on the tent, and I was just hoping that he wasn't going to get thrown off the edge because it was that bad. Because the tent was just a parachute at that point, or a sail. And I was just grabbing stuff because we had everything laying out because I had just done a campsite tour and I had just laid out all the gear and stuff so that I could show everybody. So I'm pulling stuff in and out, the 70 to 200 or the 200 to 500. I don't know. One of the tall zoom lenses was on the table. I'm grabbing it and throwing everything in the car. We had these two German, I think, people come over and throw themselves on the tent as well to help Raymond while I'm trying to get everything into the car. I'm getting bruised up because the door is slamming on me because of the wind as I'm trying to wedge myself in. The whole thing was kind of scary, but also I was laughing the whole time because of course, all good plans, right? I have this beautiful vision. Of course something's going to happen. And I probably have a million stories like that where, probably we weren't in any, serious danger because of either, being out in the middle of nowhere and just being fit. So being able to get back to wherever I need to be, but, just all my good plans going awry. So I suppose that's one. Saletti asks, I think I actually have a video about that. I think I do. I'll link to it down below. Saletti asks, why did you choose to be a photographer? What do you love most about photography? I always liked photography, and I'm not sure why. I just always have. I'm interested in the world around me, so I think capturing it is kind of a natural thing for me. But I also love art, and I love expressing myself, and I love sharing my love of the world. So it all just kind of meshes for me. So yeah. Wired to the Core says, my question I have been asking myself is when you are working on a picture project and the project does not fully work out, the story I was just talking about, yeah. Talk about not fully working out. What do you do with the images afterwards? Do you let them sit on a hard drive or try to make something out of it? In my case, it's a photo book project of the Pacific Crest Trail, but did not finish the hike, wondering if I should just print out the book anyway with the images I already captured. Of course you should. That's incredible. Whatever you did there is incredible. You should definitely finish it. And for me, I kind of always have to finish whatever the project is because of my job. Whatever I do is typically something for my job. So there are times when I just end up going, oh, well, I got to make it into something else, and I just make it into something else. So your book is, this is what I did. I didn't finish it. Bummer, Oh, well, this is what you saw, which whatever it is incredible. Next. Philip says, roll a dice. The number you get is the question you answer. Oh my gosh, and he has questions 1 through 6. I don't have any dice with me, so I'm going to say question 3. Question 3 is, what was the last book you read? Oh. I typically have numerous books going on at the same time because I'm weird. The one that is right over there is Vasari's Lives of Artists. That's what I'm reading right now. What's the last one I actually finished? I don't know. I've had some pretty seriously long-term books that I've been reading lately. Have you that's one of his other questions. The next one is Ravenous Lobo Productions. Oh, this is the last question. He says, how would you recommend someone starting out to approach people about getting work with video and or photography? I have applied to different places using a resume along with a link to a playlist of my work, but it has not worked. I get anxiety and overthink things quite a lot and feel like this is going nowhere. I have gotten some work before, but it just ended there. I feel lost and I hope you can help. Thank you. From Elvis. Okay. Well, Elvis, getting a job at someone else's photography studio is kind of what it sounds like you have done by applying to places with a resume and a link to your work. That's like anything else. You just have to, just like any other job that you would get, an office job or anything else, your resume, your portfolio needs to mesh with whoever you're giving it to. It may or it may not. In terms of getting work outside of that, if you're looking to get work from people, I don't know what kind of work you are looking to do, but I know a lot of people getting started are looking to get into like events and such like that and portraits and stuff. So I'm just going to give you my advice there. And that is to do as much work as you can basically for free. And I know that's kind of a bit of a controversial thing. But what I did was I did work for free. I did work for friends and family, and I made sure that they were able to give me referrals, because word of mouth is, I think, more important than anything else. And then I also offered to work for local photographers just to assist them for free. Now, when I did that, I didn't ever walk away empty-handed. They always did give me some sort of money. But what I was doing was making those connections. So I was making connections even with my friends and family so that when they had their family portrait on their Christmas card, or when they had their family portrait hanging in their cubicle at work and someone said, I should really get my family portrait done, they could say, oh, here, I have a card of the guy that did my portrait here. They don't have to say it was my brother or anything like that, So just getting yourself out there, sometimes biting the bullet and doing it for free for a while is a way to get your feelers out there and to get your name out there and start work. And then with working for local photographers, you're learning from them and what their process is and what they do, but you're also, at least I typically got referrals from them. So if there was a job that was maybe too small for them, they would say, oh, Leigh was good when she worked with me. I'm going to refer these people to her. So that's my advice for getting started. don't get too discouraged, because it's a tough field to break into, and it's tougher now than it was when I first started, for sure, because of the internet and because everybody has these, websites, and it's just easy to find, and there are a lot of people out there who will work for very cheap. And if you're trying to make a living off of it, you might not be able to do that. So I realize that's a little bit contradictory with what I just said, but maybe start out doing the free work, but that will lead to paid work. So that's it, everybody. That was my last question for today, and for things about being a photographer, and a few personal questions in there. And next time I will be back with questions about working with models, and then questions on being a YouTuber, and new gear versus old gear, and all sorts of other things. So make sure that you are subscribed and hit the bell so that you are notified when I get these videos posted. And that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching.